I think creatives write songs, especially songwriters, write songs based on where they are at, based on their experiences. And so sometimes you hear songs that are about deliverance, bringing me out, saving me, and all of that. But then again, you go through another season of your life, and the song is purely, or the songs you get are purely songs of gratitude, songs of worship, songs of praise. So I'm so thankful for that season, because for me, it was totally a growth curve, right? And not just from that place of, Lord, so I had songs previously, songs like Lord Today, don't do it tomorrow, but do it today. So they were more of songs of deliverance, but then just transcending from that place into a place of gratitude, of worship, because actually having victories in my personal life that is bringing me to that place of thankfulness, to that place of worship. So it truly was birthed from a personal experience in my growth with my relationship with God. Going through the last couple of months in my life, I just had this series of experiences where I think the Father nature and the goodness of God was just so real to me and so overwhelming. And sometimes we try to describe God and we say, oh, God is great, or God is amazing, or God is awesome. We have different adjectives that we just use. But, I had series of experiences, and in all the experiences, all I could just see was how good God is. God is so good. And I was in a bid to be able to describe how good God is. That phrase just kept coming to me. Good and more. So like overly good, excessively good. So that's really what it is. Good and more. And that's the title of this sophomore album that is coming out. It's quite interesting because it's not just about sharing similar experiences, because sometimes we're all at different places. But my sound is quite foreign. My sound is, sometimes people tell me your sound is very international. And I was led to kind of collaborate with a certain group. So that's one of the collaborations I have on this album that I'm really excited about. That they are actually, they have a Nigerian or an African local sound. So it's the fusion of the difference in the way we sound, but then still communicating this certain song. And the song, truly, you guys will love it. Thank you, you'll love it. The title of the song is Thank You. So it's the fusion of actually communicating that message that actually just, endeared me to this group. And we had an amazing collaboration. The things that I was led to do differently on this album is most of the songs are recorded and delivered in a live manner. So some of the songs that we have on this particular project, we have done them over and over and over again in small meetings, in concerts. So there are songs that you and I have grown to love. There are songs that have now become a part of our praise worship playlist and our praise worship repertoires because we've been singing it over and over. So for instance, we did an acoustic version of the song Thank You. And then we now collaborated with M and Revelation for the song Thank You. So take for instance, we did the live version or the studio version of the song Mercy. And then we now did a collaboration with the one and only Victor Thompson, which was just an acoustic version. And it was just pure heavenly worship. So for some reason, I was just led to actually be able to communicate these songs really differently for this particular album. So I think those are some of the things that I've done differently, and the response has really been humbling, really been amazing. I mean, on TikTok, it's been like crazy. Because I go on TikTok and I'm like seeing people duetting a song like Mercy. I'm looking at the views, and they're over 100,000 growing every day. And you just keep seeing, and you're looking at the inside and seeing people from South Africa, people from Kenya, and they're really just loving on this worship and loving on, the music. So I think those are some of the things that the Spirit of God is led me to do different, and it's been really, truly amazing.
Nothing's too hard for you.
I would say it is so timely and so relevant. Why do I say that? Because of the kinds of songs that we have in this album. So I think God has taken me through a season and has been dropping songs that some of them are songs of declaration. And sometimes God gives people songs for His church. So take for instance, in our country, Nigeria, there's so much insecurity, there's so much fear. And I think the church also feels like they really need God to stand up for them. They really need God to defend them. And just right in that season, I begin to hear, my God, Jehovah Olubeja, my God, Akune Chemba, that's the lion that, guards the land. So even in that season, I also meet certain ministers, and I find out that the lyrics of their song is also kind of skewed towards this same message. So I can already sense that that's what the Spirit of God is saying, or that's what He wants His children to be declaring. So He gives me songs like My God, which is one other big song that is in this project. And I think it's a song of declaration that, people would just play that song and they would find peace, in the midst of the storm. People on their jobs that are going through, people that are just being, what's the word now? People that are just being oppressed. Some people are being oppressed in their universities by their lecturers. Some people are being oppressed by their bosses, on their jobs, and literally feel helpless. Literally feel like they need God to stand up for them. And I can say this because personally, I listen to that song or I sing it and I am uplifted. I feel God in the room. I feel like I don't want to say an invisible hand, but definitely there is an invisible force that is fighting my battles. So we have songs like My God on this album, and we have so many other songs. Some of them are just praise worship songs for the praise worship leader in church. So it's an album where no one is going to feel left out. Then we also have other journeys on this album where the person that just wants to move their head, right? Just wants to feel the music, right? We have that kind of song, on this album. And I would actually say I'm humbled by the kinds of songs, the lyrics, the message, the spirit behind the kinds of songs that are on this album. So in terms of relevance, I think it is more than timely and definitely has a sure word for the church And that's why I'm so motivated that it has to get into your hands now at this point.